Hey, kids, it's Mike.
And the fabulous Katie.
This week we're on episode 83. What are we talking about?
Today it's more Indiana Jones. It is Indiana June, Part 2, Temple of Doom.
And some Netflix. On this episode of Cup of Rad. Hey, everybody. It's another week. We've been indoors for almost an entire week.
Because there's so much rain.
Yeah, it's been raining like mad up here. But it's like a weird rain because it's like it'll rain almost all day and then like you're just about to have dinner and then it'll get all sunny and you're like, oh, okay, well maybe we'll go outside and then all of a sudden it's rain again.
Yeah. Well, because it's not that cold. Like we had one day where it was cold, but generally it's been pretty warm. So, but it's weird weather. My family looks at me and they're like, oh wow, you have 10 days of rain. And I was like, yeah, you guys suck. You have 10 days of sun. You can just, take I'm on the patio again today reading. You suck, Mom. I'm not bitter at all.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
I tried to force summer to happen, being like, I'm going to get tan. I'm just going to it's just going to happen. It did not listen to me.
No.
I'm disappointed.
I think it's Mother Nature telling us all to stay indoors.
I think so too. It's like, numbers are not too bad. Keep it that way. Stay inside.
So we did. We stayed inside and we decided to tackle Indiana June.
Yeah.
We dove into the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones, and the Temple of Doom. That's right.
That's way too much.
This one got the full title.
Yeah.
And so the whole premise behind Temple of Doom is your favorite archaeologist is at it again, and he ends up in India.
Well, he starts in China, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then he ends up in, I guess it's India? I guess so.
Yeah, it's like
Unfortunately, I can't remember now because I don't remember the little map hopped.
Yeah, it's way up there.
Yeah, that's not good.
What?
That we don't remember exactly, but I guess they never really talked about it, so. Yeah. He was trying to go to Delhi, though, so that makes sense then, so.
So he ends up getting there and he gets pulled into because a village is missing its stones and everyone's sick and the water's gone.
So when they believe that that they were sent by the gods to save them.
Because they fell from the sky.
Yeah. So
he goes off and tries to...
Well, of course it piques his interest because, it's this cult idea, historic cult that hasn't been around for 100 years and... this ceremony, and you can tell he's interested in visiting this sacred city and seeing all this stuff and seeing if the legends are true, basically. So that makes sense. I mean, I think that's the first thing that drives him. The secondary is that these people are starving and dying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, it's the artifact, first and foremost, right? So and then shenanigans.
Shenanigans with horrible, disgusting food involved. That was awful. Kiddo and me were freaking out, super squirming on the couch. Oh my God.
Well, it is pretty horrific. They really paint it out to be horrible.
Right. And that it's not, I guess that was way back then and they wouldn't be doing that as much now. Right. But it's so extravagant and over the top and just
the fact that it comes out in this giant python that they cut it open and there's
so sad.
all these other baby snakes squirming around.
Thank you for reliving that horribleness.
Just in case people haven't watched it. But
no, they really don't want to watch it.
And then there was the beetle paste and the
crunchy
eyeball soup.
Nothing. Oh yeah, Kiddo did not like the eyeball soup. And then the monkey brains, chilled monkey brains,
for dessert.
And those horrific heads for bowls. All I could just think of was this tribe of monkeys has gotten slaughtered for you to have this little sweet treat at night. She's stop eating the monkeys. Would it really
be that sweet though?
I don't know what monkey brains.
Sweet monkey brains?
I don't think so.
But yeah, it's painted out to be very, really horrific.
Yes.
As
it should be. That was horrible.
It's interesting too, especially with looking at the movie with more of the lens now. Before there wasn't really a lot of the racial kind of stereotyping and all that. This one is actually full of more of that
yes,
prejudice almost.
Well, especially because even just the food itself, that there is, what we consider strange and unusual food. Exotic, I guess we would try to term it as, right? Things that we would not find over here. And I understand that, but that was so over the top.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, well, they're over there. They must eat something completely bizarre and outlandish. And it was quite interesting.
So I remember when I originally showed this to Kiddo a few years back, it scared the crap out of him.
Uh-huh.
And like, I literally could just start saying Male Kale Mora, and he will start screaming and clutch his heart and run.
Yeah. I'm kind of sad that won't happen anymore.
No, I'm pretty sure it still will, but he
but yeah, so
he wasn't looking forward to watching this one because it scares him, right? But he made it through it. That was a good thing.
And we asked him, we're like, so what do you think? And he's like, wasn't nearly as scary as I remember.
Right.
Like, dude, it's been like, you were like 5 or 6 when you watched this before. I can understand why it was scarier.
Yeah. So well, see, it's rated PG.
I know.
So
the 6-year-old would be scared. You were parental guidancing him. I know. I'm not judging you.
Mole.
But I mean, it was creepy to him, of course, because not only does the guy's heart get ripped out, then he gets thrown into a fiery pit while his heart catches on fire as it's beating in the man's hands. There's some dark black magic shit going on.
Yeah, that's true.
When you say it out loud.
Truth.
And then they get taken over by mind control, zombie dust.
Yeah.
Or it definitely, not dust, but they get forced into drinking the blood.
A lot of the stuff that's in there, like I would have to look it up more and all that, but it reminds me more of like
Haitian, right?
Haitian and South American,
stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Rituals. Like it's not something that I ever recall with that, but so you'd have
between the voodoo doll and the zombie dust. No, why do I keep calling it dust? The zombie.
Well, because it is technically in Haitian, it's dust.
It's a dust. Maybe that's
usually blowing into your face, like
because that's just more magical looking when you blow something into someone's face. It's like Riverdale. Sorry,
that's a weird connection.
And if you've never seen Riverdale, you're like, what the hell is she talking about?
Such a weird connection.
That was, but. I just specifically remember last time the blowing the dust into the face. That was all.
No, it's totally cool. It was just took me off guard.
Yeah. Anyways. Oh look, squirrel.
But I always remember liking Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Right. And this watch, I started falling asleep.
Yeah.
I was not nearly as engaged as I thought I was going to be.
Some of the scenes went on a little longer than I expected, and as much as they did change scenes, they didn't change scenes as much as
it was very centralized.
One. Yeah. You know what? I like the mystery solving of, with Raiders, him having to figure out the staff and find the location and solve the mystery of where it is and be the archaeological find idea. And with this, it was still an archaeological find only because, he saw he found these crystals but at the same time, he didn't solve something about them really. Like they still don't know what they were or why they were glowing really. Yeah. They were so much more
supposed to be
magic.
Diamonds.
Yeah. But it's like, why though? Why do the 3 diamonds together suddenly glow and create light? Like it comes across more as alien tech almost feel, right?
Ooh, maybe once we watch the fourth one, maybe it'll all just
maybe it'll all click in, right? But it wasn't so much of the solving of the location. It wasn't like he had a map where he had to solve a riddle to find a certain place, and the only thing was the horrible death door, the cave that was collapsing on them. But even that, he was just screaming at the crazy screaming lady about what to do. She drove me nuts a few times, as you can tell.
She's Steven Spielberg's wife.
Well, she screams very well.
They met on that movie.
Really? Huh. But you know what, though? I got really frustrated with it a lot of the times, and then the movie was over, and I was like, it's probably, like, when you look at her and the way she screams, she looks like one of those, like, old
radio stars.
Yeah, like the Scream, the posters, right? And I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Bingo.
That's what it is. I'm like, okay, well, I can forgive it a little bit more now because that's what he was going for.
Yep.
Was this looks like the reenactment, living embodiment of one of those posters.
Yeah.
Okay. So she did a good job on that.
Right.
But it just, there was a few times where it was driving me nuts.
So this is actually a prequel. It's not a sequel, which is pretty wild.
That is weird. Does it ever?
Yeah.
Can you tell?
Right at the beginning, the year.
I don't pay attention. I didn't.
Yeah.
What year was it?
1935.
Okay.
Whereas the first movie is 1936.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, which is, a random.
So that would explain also then why, because I mean, technically at the end of Raiders, I know he wasn't like with her, the girl.
Oh, with
Marion, but she was completely out of the picture.
Yeah, right.
And then that makes more sense than why it wasn't even a question at all, right? That whole scene with him and them where like awkwardly flirting but not flirting was just really funny. It was
a play on the James Bond again, right?
I was gonna say it's totally got the James Bond feel, right?
So not only was a prequel that was like not really known to a lot of people because it's such a split second of knowing when it happened. It also was George Lucas's attempt to not have Indy fight Nazis again. He felt that there would be more villains he could go up against. Also, too, the darkness that really came from it was from the fact that they were feuding at the time. They were having a falling out. Spielberg and Lucas.
Oh, okay.
So it was causing a rift, and I think that's why where the first one was 81, this one was 84, was so close together, right? And then the third one's come out to 89, right?
Oh, okay.
So I think there was a bit of
they walked away from each other for a little while.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the darkness in it, then Spielberg tried to interject humor to try to lighten the darkness. And that's where you get some more of the slapstick humor that shows up within it.
Okay. Right,
to kind of balance. And then you got the kid from Goonies, plays Short Round.
Oh, yeah, he's that guy.
Yeah. Really racking up the stereotypes with how he talks.
One. Oh, my goodness. So... You know what? So Kiddo's favorite scene, again, was the long chase. He liked the minecart chase. All he said during the entire thing was, this should be a ride. And so he really enjoyed that. And that one wasn't too bad, but to me, it felt like the movie kind of dragged from there on to the end. Like, to the actual beating of the villain, it was between that and the bridge and like...
I do like the bridge, though.
I like the bridge, but it just... To me, I felt a little bit like it was dragging, and I don't know... if that was just
because it goes so fast. It goes so fast, and then it slows down with everything inside the palace. The temple, right? And then it's like then you get out and
So I like that the Maharaja was not actually evil. He was drugged
with the mind dust.
Yes,
with the mind blood.
See, you did the same thing. I got you working on that now too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. That made me happy because I was like, wow, you're an evil little kid, and you've got so much power. This is terrifying. But
the alligators in it were actually filmed in Florida, so they're actually gators or not crocodiles. They should have been crocodiles over there.
Oh, that's funny. Oh.
Frank Marshall did second unit directing on that.
Oh, okay. So just no one will notice.
Yeah. Well, it's so quick too.
Oh, right? Yeah, it is. I mean, and we just were like, oh, something with sharp, pointy teeth. Like, who cares?
Sharp, pointy teeth.
Sorry, I apologize that sentence should only be said one way.
But yeah, like rewatching it, I lost some of its shiny, and I think I don't know, and not in a bad way of like. I don't know. It just didn't click with me this time.
Yeah.
And whereas like Raiders, I was like still full bore on. And I don't know if it was like, teenage angsty Mike that used to be like, it was dark and moody.
Maybe. I don't know. It did make me really happy when all the kids came home though. The mom and me was just like, oh, thank God. The kids have been stolen.
But it is like the other one's such a grand, like the fate of the world is at stake for the first one.
Yeah, this one seems so central. I mean, literally,
it's all small scale. Like, there's not a lot at risk.
Like there's just the very local people. Obviously, there was lots of families involved, but it wasn't like millions of people will die.
It wasn't like they were like
catastrophic failure.
They're gonna take over the world with what. There was no plan like that happening.
He was gonna take over the world.
Well,
he was gonna use Kali's power to wipe out the Christianity.
Yeah, but it's not really like.
It didn't, but it was so difficult to hear, and there was no real clear-cut plan.
There wasn't any urgency behind
because we knew the evil of the Nazis already, right? We don't even have the movie to tell us. And we already knew that they would have taken... If the Nazis
Damn Nazis.
Right? If the Nazis had that power, and if it had worked for them, it would have been catastrophic, I feel. We don't need that explained to us.
Yeah.
The concept of what it would look like for them to use Cali to take over and wipe out the Christians... We can't comprehend that. It seems like something that's not going to really take off.
Yeah.
So, but it was because Indy stopped them.
That's true. That's true. One thing I did notice, though, the music in this is almost like per beat the same music that is used in the ride.
Yeah. There was a few times where I had the like flashbacks of the ride. Right?
Right? That yeah. It's in this movie. Like there's like people don't remember the movie enough, so they were like let's just take that music. Okay, let's just scope that because we're in a temple.
Well, yeah, it totally works. It's out of the 3 movies. It's the one that would be the best one for it. Yeah, so. I was noticing that. I was getting. But yeah, beats. I had the few times, and I was just like, oh, I can hear the ride. I was just wishing for. You know what was wrong with this month? Yeah, this movie was missing Solo, so that's what. But it wouldn't have made sense. No. Suddenly, why he would have shown up. All right. Just shows up. I need masala. So yeah. Well, so I'm happy we watched it. I'm happy that Kiddo was able to get past his fear. Get past it and see it for, the movie that it is and not just focus on the scariness for it. So that's a good thing. And then we finally get to move on to the third one since he's never seen it at all, and that'll be good. I think it's got the best indie style costume with the ripped shirt, though. Yeah, I would like you to cosplay that. I'm going to heavily promote that. Just saying. I guess I got to get back to the gym. Because I love that he's one arm rips off. It's like it fits perfect with the style of the pulp feel. Mm-hmm. It's just like slightly ripped. I like that his shirt does stay on him, though, at least. And when he doesn't have a shirt on, at least it makes sense why he didn't have a shirt on. He was evil then. He was evil, yeah, I guess so. He was only partially evil. I don't know. But yeah, it was amazing actually to see how much he actually did have more muscle in this one. Yeah, well, they talked about how he knew he was going to have shirtless scenes, so he ended up having to work out for it. So, and what's just hilarious to see is you see that, and it's pretty attainable for what you see. Oh yeah, right. Compared to if that movie was like a real person was made now with someone of that age, then they would look like Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, right. And you're like, wow, I'd never even look like that. Right, that's not real life. For so a professor. True. Yeah, right. let's not forget he's not a full-time adventurer. He's a professor first and a adventurer second. Mm-hmm. So. But then he was supposed to be younger in this movie a little bit, so... I guess that makes sense. Maybe this one completely destroyed him, and he's like, I'm out. I'm done. No more chasing crazy temple goddess ceremonies anymore, so jumping out of airplanes, I don't know. That would be a great ride. Yeah? You had that. I think they should try to figure out how to do... one of their multi-plane rides that they've been coming up with for like Rise of Resistance, where they got like the drop ride with the dark ride and all that. They need to figure out how you're like on an airplane and you get in the raft and free fall and then slide and then turn into a river ride. That'd be pretty awesome. That's what they need to do. They need to come up with the Indiana Jones ride that is all 3 of the possibilities: a river ride, a minecart ride, and the Jeep ride within the same temple. And you just pick your adventure. Oh, wow. That'd be pretty intense. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. Well, when they can start doing like everything is like a motion ride again, at some point they'll be able to do that. Right. And just like everything. Mm-hmm. Well, thoughts, feelings, conclusions, deductions. Mm-hmm. Happy we watched it. Yeah. You know what? I'm happy to watch it. I'm still trying to rack my brain over why I loved it so much. It might have just been in the perfect place for you at the time. And it's still a fun action adventure, something relatively simple story, and it's not super sci-fi really. Yeah. So it makes sense why you still would have enjoyed it. Why it didn't click with me now. I think I'm still trying to figure out what it was. And I think it just is because
I don't know. I haven't figured that one out yet. I've had days to ponder over this, and I still don't know.
How strange.
Right?
Well, maybe because the last time when you did watch it with Kiddo, you were more focused on him.
Remember?
That maybe you weren't really paying attention to the movie enough, because then with him kind of
freaking
out, right? So I'm interested to watch Last Crusade.
See, and that's the one I'm like least excited to watch, because like it's the one that's like whenever like something's on television, it's The Last Crusade.
Yeah.
Whenever we watch something in school, they're like Indiana Jones. It was The Last Crusade.
Well, that's the thing here. It's what I remember the most. This one, I was surprised on how little I remembered really from it. So that was interesting to see it. But yeah, Last Crusade, I know for sure. At least I remember knowing for sure. Let's see if I really did or not. I actually forgot how much what I remembered was actually Raiders. So maybe I blended the two together. I'm really good at that. Blending movies.
And we're watching like the perfect dad movie on Father's Day weekend. Because it literally is a dad movie.
Oh, yes.
So
score. So there you go. Indiana Jones Part 2.
So Insane Dragon Ball, Theo there, he sent us another little transition music, so enjoy.
So, Mike, what's next?
We dove into some Netflix.
Yeah.
We don't have as big of a list of movies as we did this last week.
Yeah,
much of it is rating. We just like didn't.
We had other things we were trying to get done, and
we watched some more nature.
Some of the more Disney Plus type things. We watched Wild Hawaii. National Geographic on there. That was a 3-part series, which was fun. Really learned about the unique ecological system that is Hawaii. It's very different from anywhere else, and learned about the volcanic aspect and how everything kind of blends together, right? So that was really fun. And then we found ancient Greeks things on there as well. So kind of the idea of learning where they actually came from. I mean, they didn't.
Quite a bit of history.
Yeah, it was just really history, because it wasn't the most ideal place for life to have taken off as much as it did, or didn't look like it, right? But they kind of forced it to be, and it really is because of its location.
Yeah.
And so it's been interesting to kind of hear about that, and as it moves through the ages. So,
and then we broke into watching finally that Disney gallery, The Mandalorian.
Yes.
Which, we got to hear more about the stories behind it. And if you haven't watched it, we only did a couple episodes, but just being able to hear Dave Filoni talk,
it's goosebumps.
Yeah, it's proof why he needs to be doing more of the creative side of all of Star Wars.
Yeah,
because he's like the torchbearer from George Lucas.
Yeah, he right? Like, it's like whatever he says for Star Wars is coming from George Lucas.
Yeah,
but with a current like thought process on how things could run. It was so moving to hear him talk about how much this story in this world means to him and what it could mean for other people. And he has such a apparent in-depth understanding of these characters and the long-term story.
Yeah.
The whole mythology of everything, not just the little straightforward this character or something like this. And that was just wonderful to hear him talk about.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. He's in the second episode, he's got a monologue almost.
Yeah.
That is worth watching that episode just for that. It definitely is inspiring to see. And it made me even look at the prequel and the original saga differently. I
agree. Yeah. It did the same thing where I was like, oh, it's a little bit more forgiveness and okay. So history on me, I loved in high school reading books and digging apart meanings of things like old stories. I love finding the allegories and things. Like that was always one of my favorite things. And like finding all the different stories and what things could mean and the connections between things. So hearing him talk about that and all the allegory that you can take from Star Wars, like there's relatively obvious ones and then there's much deeper ones, and him pulling that out and talking about it all the way from the beginning, and then kind of what Lucas thought about for the prequels, it was a really satisfying conversation to hear him talk about. And yeah, I gave it a different feel. And as I say, forgiveness almost for some of those weird things. And, especially the Duel of the Fates. Yeah. Right? That was an awesome discussion on that. So
yeah, so totally worth it. I can't wait to continue on that as well.
Yeah.
Makes me wish I had stuck with like getting into filmmaking though more.
Yeah.
Like, I see these things and I just kick myself in the ass for
because all the different directors, right? It was fun hearing Favreau he's so happy to be there. You know, it's just like I get to do this awesome thing and I got these awesome people together and everyone's just awesome. And they really love what they did. And then The Mandalorian, the amazingness of it shows because they all really were happy to be there and they really all cared, right? Yeah. And they shared the burden and the challenge, I think, and that really helped too. It wasn't just one person and one vision; it was a collective vision, and it all blended really well. So
exactly.
Yeah. So
then we hopped over to Netflix.
Then we decided we watch movies.
Yeah. We hopped over there, and one of the Netflix original movies that we had been pondering about for the past few weeks, we finally decided we would take the plunge. Chris Hemsworth, Extraction, written by one of the Russos, produced by the Russos, and one of the stunt coordinators from some of the Avengers movies is who directed it. It was directed debut. So similar to how the dude went and created John Wick being a stunt coordinator, this is the same idea. Stunt coordinator directing. Right? So Extraction tells a tale about a kid that gets kidnapped, and
he's the son of a parent drug lord that's in prison, and it appears to be a drug lord, you know, I don't know what the right word is now suddenly.
No, feuding.
There we go. So he gets kidnapped.
Yeah, so then Hemsworth's team is commissioned to extract the child from the situation. And that is pretty much the premise of the story. Yeah,
he is an ex-military of some sort. He's done, I think you find out he's done 3 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan and everything. And then he's obviously got some sort of haunted past. Something is gnawing at him, right? And he has kind of acts like a little bit of a death wish going on. He doesn't really have a will and care to live type thing, right? So it definitely seems like a very intense situation he's being thrown into. So it's like, he'll figure it out, and he doesn't really care. He's what kind of challenges he's facing, right? So.
Yeah. The action in the movie is superb. It's top notch when the action is happening. You know, it's like that one scene where he's trying to get the kid out is like 11 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's like a continuous shot feel, right? And it's just pure action. And it was brilliant because, you know, he uses his gun to fight with swords.
Yeah, that was really cool. Like, he uses as a block.
Yeah. And like, there's just so many really cool action scenes. And I say when the action's on, it's a fantastic film.
And because none of the action felt weird and like sci-fi feel, like it all seemed like legitimately someone with training could do that.
Yeah, there's a couple where he like sweep kicked that guy and he's went sideways.
Then the one where he like picked him up at like waist height and like threw him across the room. Yeah, that was not real feeling. I was like, no, that is not going to happen because the guy was like sticking straight out from him.
It was a full
physics did not make sense in that moment.
And I was like, okay, we're in for a ride. Like it's going to be intense. And then it slowed down, and then I got bored. And because it slowed down too long, right? And because then you had like the meeting with those kids, and it was kind of funny that he bitch slapped that guy, which I'll get back to that. And then
they got a little too comfortable, too safe feeling.
Yeah.
And it was like they took the suspenseful edge off, and it didn't have the effect of jacking up the... Like, what it should have been was you felt just enough okay, and then shit hit the fan again.
Yeah, and that's where I got tired. It let it happen
too long, and you're like, okay, everything's going to be totally fine.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, and then it damped up again, and it got incredible and insane again.
Yeah. What did we find the lesson from this?
The lesson is if you're going to bitch slap someone, make sure they stay down because otherwise they'll come back to haunt you.
Yeah, that's our lesson.
That's the lesson from this movie. You bitch slap them so hard, you knock them out for days so you get away. So practice your bitch slap.
Yeah.
Get a dummy and just get in your garage and practice just the backhand.
Bitch slap. Do it properly.
Yep, because you don't want them to come back and pop you in the back. So that's a lesson to be learned. You know, when watching it, it made me think of that. I really do wish, and it was one of the problems with the last John Wick 2. The third John Wick felt like it should have just been like, you know, a free fall from minute 1 to minute end, and it had too many lulls in it for myself as well. I want someone to make a movie, a 2-hour movie, where you just literally are like gritting your teeth, like about to shit yourself, just like, this is so intense, I can't even blink or breathe.
Kind of interested, kind of horrified at that description. I don't know if I really want all of that.
But where it's just so much is going on. Just like take those action
I just want to run my adrenal glands on maximum for 2 hours.
Take those action scenes, extend that 11-minute action scene into a 2-hour film. That would be amazing. But they all have those where they're like, oh, we need story and plot. That's a bunch of hooey. We don't pay money.
I wonder if he actually believes that.
Yeah, I want to see someone do it, and not a budget company, not a no-name budget company that, you know, would just like make it schlocky, like an actual like quality, like, you know, I want to see John Wick for 2 hours doing what he does in 5-minute increments throughout those 2 hours, right? Or like this movie, that scene where it's just, you're literally like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that just blew up and that guy's flying. And so now
we need like Tom Cruise, who is like, you have action and then the drama and the conversation and the story development happens as he's running. So he's always still moving, but that's when you like get the conversation about like, so if you can't keep up with him, you can fuck off.
Yeah.
We're running.
Yeah.
And you can learn while I run because I got places to go and people to kill.
That would be amazing. That would be fantastic. Where it's just literally like there's so much dire in this movie that you can't even stop to check your wounds. You're just like, no, if I don't get to point B, something's going to happen that's so horrible. But there's so many bad guys that...
The concept of like, that's kind of like the idea of a Speed would have been like, where it never actually...
Yeah.
The risk never actually goes away.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, where it's just constant. I just want to see a ninja dropping dudes with explosions.
So he has dropped that into the universe now. Universe, you have been challenged. Someone take up the challenge.
Intensify our action movies.
Tom Cruise, I'm looking at you.
No, I don't think he can do it.
He can run.
Do the action.
He can run.
He can run.
And break his foot while he's doing it.
Yeah. That's why he's going in space, so he can't break things on his next movie.
Yeah, I know.
He'll be in gravity. Anti-gravity. He'll just be able to float.
I'm just joking. But there's other people that could do that for sure.
I'm looking at Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, of course. We just need to have another John Wick.
John Wick 4, but 2 hours of just...
That'd be sexy.
Beating people.
I mean, you gotta admit.
Beating people. I don't even care if he like rides a tricycle. As long as he's got a ninja sword, I don't care. Like, find every ridiculous thing you can put together.
Keanu on a tricycle with a ninja sword. Who had that? It feels like a card game combination. Like Super Fight. Keanu Reeves on a tricycle with a samurai sword. That is Super Fight.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
And then
we have to play Super Fight. We should play that on here again.
And then, like, you know, his tricycle pops his wheel and he hops off.
We could write an action movie with our Super Fight.
Yeah.
The next monster that you are up against is...
Yeah.
There you go.
Right? Like,
I like it.
That's what we need. We need 2 hours, just adrenaline. Let's, like, put speed into my eyeballs while I watch this.
Apparently, Extraction was not enough action for Mike. Can you tell?
Like, those scenes that it did were amazing. And I was just like, I was in. And then I got...
And then it's like, oh...
Okay. It hit its lull. Like, It was like a roller coaster that like dipped too low and then just kind of like
really get back
coasted and then it like gave you a little bit, but you were already like, well,
I'm done. So overall then, would you recommend this movie?
You know, if you're looking on Netflix, you already got it, so may as well.
Yeah.
Like for what it was, for some of those action scenes.
There was some really good action scenes.
Those action scenes, full on worth seeing, you know, how he was kicking those guys down, right? Like that was fantastic.
Would you watch it again?
Probably not. No. Unless I like fast forwarded. But I watched the beginning scene. Yeah. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like maybe I just need like the highlight reel. Highlight reel.
You're like feeling like all jazz, like I need to see people beat up moment. See some of these pictures that are upcoming right now that he's gonna have. There's some violence going through him right now. It's like
You know what's funny? Bunch, he had posted a thing about like who you are as a Batman character through quarantine. And one other thing, a bunch of comics, and it had Helena, a huntress, and the quote caption was, somehow you're violenter now than you were before. And I was like, apparently I'm falling into that category.
That's funny.
But anyways, yeah, you know, it wasn't bad. Like it scratched an itch, but I wish there had been more.
Yeah.
There needed to be more.
So we did a
wham bam.
Kind of a 180 on it. We jumped to a romantic comedy.
It was our double feature.
Yeah. It was like, wow, we actually watched a movie early now. We're gonna watch another movie.
Yeah.
Now. And we tried out Lovebirds on Netflix. Yeah.
The Lovebirds was supposed to go to theaters, but then COVID.
Yeah.
And instead of waiting or putting it on demand, they got it on Netflix.
Yeah, well, yeah, because it was a Paramount film.
Yeah.
Right? That was weird to see.
Right. Netflix original, and then Paramount's logo shows up.
Wait a second. But this one here it starts out with them showing, you know, when they were dating and kind of just the starting of a relationship, and then 4 years later, and it shows them arguing, and it kind of culminates into a maybe we should just call this off type thing. And they're heading off to a social event, and chaos ensues when this guy says he's a police officer, and he goes and he gets in the vehicle and he's chasing after this bike rider and ends up running him over.
Did.
Yeah, he's dead. And so they're along for the ride while this guy literally runs this guy over. And so they're, of course, freaking out that they are going to be assumed to be the murderers.
I love, too, that, like, this is how we're starting. We watched a romantic comedy where a man ran another man over in a car.
I know, right? So with all of that, though, my compliment for this movie is that I like that it was not formula for a romantic comedy. At the same time, right?
No, it didn't really fit the formula at all.
No, and
it fit more of the like the buddy cop action formula.
And it was weird to say that it was technically a romantic comedy when it's more of you're right, the buddy cop thing. So not fitting that mold was a good and a bad thing. It was good only because it was different. Generally, I find it more frustrating when the guy just is the guy totally messes up, and one person,
or like it's like that miscommunication where no one's communicating, and
and you're like, oh my god, just talk to each other.
What do you mean I wasn't supposed to wear red today? And you're like, you should have known it was Sunday on the 3rd, and you should never wear red, and we're gonna break up.
So the over dramatic with that aspect, right? And it wasn't like that, but at the same time, it was so real life that their first opening argument, you're like, I could hear me and Mike talking like that, like. In a real world situation. It wasn't a big, huge argument. It was something little that turns into something bigger, right? You're like, so it starts off being like, well, this is a really normal sounding, argument that you might have. And then it gets out of control.
I think the thing that made it a little more long drawn out was that it continued to happen. And that's what kind of made it a little like that novelty of it being more real kind of started getting more draining. And you were just like, they're always bickering.
Yes.
They're always bickering.
Yeah. So it had its good moments, and then it got just, overdone. It lost the quirkiness that it originally had. And then it just got a little forced feeling, right?
I did like that one joke he had where he's like, talking about why is it always when they bring milkshakes, I always like, oh, we made too much. Here's the extra container. He's like, just tell the truth. This is how a milkshake is served.
Why can't they measure it properly? Yeah, I thought about that. I was like, wow, he's totally right. Like, why is it that we just assume there's always random extra milkshake and something? No, it's purposely made that way.
He's like, they never come and be like, oh, we made too much spaghetti. Here's more spaghetti. He's like, that never happens, but it always happens with the milkshake.
Yeah. We made too much fries. Here's, have more fries. Yeah, all with the milkshake, yeah. No, it's a very good point. I've always wondered that too, and was like articulated now, so yeah.
So they find out the guy was dealing in like blackmail.
Yeah.
And it involves senators and stuff like that and Congress.
Corruption of power.
Yeah. And so it's them they're too afraid to go to the cops because
they just assume that they'll just think they're crazy and they will be immediately arrested, and because they've been avoiding taking the cops' phone call now and all sorts of fun things. So yeah, they end up getting themselves into some hijinks and some shenanigans. Shenanigans ensue, and I don't know if I really want to spoil it too much. I guess it doesn't. But long story short, everything turned out fine, I guess. I mean, that's really what it is. So, and it was, again, it made sense. It was kind of funny because it was like so being blown out of proportion in their minds, and it did make more sense. But at the same time, it kind of felt like, and we're done.
Yep.
And, it's all wrapped up, and you didn't really get the same closure that you wanted for them to be wrapping up what they were trying to hunt down and start as being like more of a detective feel, right?
Yeah.
So, and then, even with their relationship, you don't really, you hear bits and pieces where you hope they would have learned something and gotten something out of it, but it just doesn't have that same sweeping fix feel like you would expect. Like if you're watching that style movie, it's like, no, by this time, no, I really want them to really make a grand gesture or something, right? And
But he did get kicked by a horse.
He did, yeah. Just a little bit missing off the end there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where I wouldn't have paid to, like, I know you pay for Netflix, but I wouldn't have paid extra to watch it. Like, I definitely wouldn't have gone to the theater.
It wasn't bad. Like, I'm not mad or irritated that we watched it.
Like, it had some laughs.
Yeah, I mean, I did laugh at it, but I wouldn't watch it again.
No. So it wasn't funny enough to warrant that, where you're just like, oh yeah, that scene.
Yeah. So there's bits and pieces of it that were really funny, and then it was just like, okay, there we go. So we watched it. Yeah, it's there.
Oh, we watched it. So you were busy the one night. You were wanting to play your game, so I was trying to find something to watch, and I was like, I wanted something with some humor and all that, and I didn't feel like watching Community again, because even though it probably could have easily done that. But I ended up finding my way onto Netflix there and found Glow. Mm-hmm. And I was like, it's one of those shows that I've seen the things for, and I was like, it looks like it could be interesting and all that, so I decided to give it a go. And that's where our time went. Yeah, we watched,
sucked into the Glow.
Yeah, we Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling. We watched 2 seasons. It's 20 episodes. Mm-hmm. And we started the third.
It's actually in just 1 week.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
Since the last episode of Cup of Wrath.
Wow. We have become obsessed.
We're finally binge watching something.
We are super binge watching something.
Binging.
Well, it's similar to Community. We're like, so kids, is it time for Glow yet?
It's the half hour. I think it's the half hour aspect.
Yeah.
Well,
then because really we can
satisfying.
feel if we watch little bits, a bunch of them, right?
It's like really satisfying.
When you first started watching it, I'm like, okay, yeah, it's in the background. Like I could still watch a lot of it in the background and everything, but at first I'm like, what the hell is he watching? Okay. But I don't know why I'm even questioning it. I'm not as much anymore, because you started questioning you when Annie's boob showed up. Well, we finally got to see Annie's boobs. Yeah. Again, Twice. That was surprising. In their full glory. In glory. And so we're learning slowly what happened to the characters of Community. Yeah, so that's what we've decided. This is the what if from Annie. Yeah. If the FBI training didn't pan out the way she wanted it to, she ended up becoming a gorgeous lady of wrestling. Yeah. And then we found out what happened to Troy. He went to Atlanta. You know,
So
he thought he was going to go around the world and he just got stuck in Atlanta.
from Colorado to Atlanta.
Well, he did at one point get taken over by pirates
In
somewhere.
Mexico.
And then he made his way to Atlanta.
So that's what we're doing. We're trying to find like what everybody did from Community.
Yeah.
And
so first stop was wrestling.
Yeah. And so Troy went to Atlanta. Manny went to wrestling. And I'm pretty sure that we can trifecta one of them, that Abed, Dean, and Frankie went to DuckTales.
Yes.
And then I'm drawing a blank.
Can you explain?
On Chang.
Okay.
He either became a doctor, and we haven't watched Dr. Ken, or he just rolls into Hangover for myself.
I like Hangover better. Because that version totally makes more sense.
Right?
Because if he became a doctor, oh my God, help us all. But Hangover makes much more sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Or Hangover is just in between Community seasons and then Doctor, because he was kind of nice at the end of.
He was, yeah.
So maybe he's like the one character that cleans up his life. Everyone else can just.
Yeah. True. There's that. Everyone figured things out, and everyone else went to. But yeah, so it started showing up and I was like, what the hell is he watching now? But I should learn by now that everything Mike puts on when I'm busy doing something else always turns out amazing. And it didn't take me long to get sucked into it watching it. And so far, yeah, it's really interesting story-wise, and it's a good mix of drama and comedy and the action with the wrestling. And like we found ourselves even trying to like imitate it. It was quite funny. We're wrestling a little bit and you're like, I wish I had this bouncy floor. I want to like throw each other around. It'd be fabulous. Like, yes. I'm going to go learn how to wrestle, Mike.
Okay. Own it.
If only you wear an awesome costume like that.
You could.
You know?
So, yeah, you could.
It was kind of fun to see. Like, I've never had anything against wrestling, but I've never understood the appeal, really.
Yeah.
Some of them were quite funny, and I know some of them, you know, some of the more famous ones, but I've never really cared about it. And it was interesting to see a different look on and realizing how much of a theater show it really is. Yeah. You know, where, you know, I knew that it was planned. It's not actual really, you know, beating themselves up thing. But it just took on a whole nother level. They're just a bunch of stunt actors.
There's a bit of like almost respect to it.
Yeah.
Seeing it, it's like a fictional documentary.
Yeah. Where you're like, wow, you know, I'm really impressed on what you guys are doing, actually.
Putting their bodies through and what they can, you know,
because as much
learning
as
the moves.
And it's still the risk for it, and because you have to be able to do it correctly to not injure yourself. Yeah. And there's a skill involved in that.
And not get caught up in the to hurt someone, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Shows, right? So,
and to really make it look like you want to hurt that person but not do it. Yeah. And it's no different than any of the stunt work type stuff to be able to.
But this is live.
But yeah, live, and you have to work together with someone like that while being a character, not just, you know, I'm in a fight type thing. Yeah. It's like, no, I have to actually theme it as well. And so, yeah, it was like a weird sort of like wrestling respect earned with this. It was
right, which is pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
I always, you know, what's funny is wrestling was like, whenever I would visit my dad in those early years of my life there, they always had wrestling on. There was always like the wrestling, like, because WWF at the time was huge, right? Like, it was like,
it's weird. I would never have assumed anyone in that house would have watched wrestling.
Right?
Weird.
Right?
But yeah, one of the kids I babysat were really into wrestling. And I remember one night I was babysitting them late and they were just watching wrestling. And I'm like, this is the weirdest thing ever. Like, I'm sitting with these 3 young boys watching wrestling. Yeah. Like, they were so happy.
It's like we go back to, they just want to see people beat on each other. Right? And, but like, yeah, like I remember that was a big thing. And even my mom, like, there was a local wrestling troupe here. And she would take me to those because they were part of the pub that she worked at, right? Oh, okay. And so then we went there. That was the one time when she took me to the gym. It was like a wrestling gym.
Oh yeah, you told me about that. Okay.
So it's like you look back and I'm like, wait a minute.
Wrestling was part of my life.
I could have actually been a wrestler way back then if I applied myself. Could have worn a sparkly cape.
You could have.
I could have been like Lando.
Oh, yes.
But in the wrestling ring. I miss my calling.
Yeah.
We'll become a wrestler. Yeah. We'll become wrestlers together.
Maybe Troy ran off and went to space.
love that that's where this took. It was like, hey, let's go be wrestlers together. You're like, whoa, wait.
I was still on the Cape.
Wait. Cape, Lando. Troy went to space. He's in a coma.
Right. Anyways, yeah, there you go. We're gonna go be wrestlers?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. You would actually probably be really good at it. Not gonna lie, because you're really strong, but you have very good control over your body.
Yeah, you get thrown out.
I would actually hurt someone.
Yeah.
I have very little control.
Yeah.
Like
I have contusions all over my body.
Thank you. When we pretend and wrestle, because you play with Kiddo so much that you had to learn how to do that anyway.
Yeah.
I
knock a bitch out.
So, right. So if Kiddo comes and goes after me, he
loses a tooth.
I don't hurt him, but I have there's a higher chance of him getting hurt if we play wrestle than or anything like
Sometimes
that.
I don't know if he's play wrestling or if he's actually trying to
I think he
alpha
actually
us.
Yeah, well, because he's gotten stronger. I remember the one it had been a while, and he actually full on gut punched me, and I was like, "Holy crap! When did he get so strong?"
Yeah,
he's trying now.
Yeah,
so
it's like if you take us out, you don't get fed,
right? Anyways, we got into weird family drama.
Parenting 101. Make sure you bitch slap someone so they don't get up.
Oh, God.
Don't quote me. This got dark.
This got really dark. Okay.
Twisty.
But we've just started season 3 of
Glow. So season 1 and 2 I thought were really, really fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Season 3 I'm enjoying, but it's a different format.
Because you don't see the wrestling show. Because now they're doing a floor show in Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing every night. So it's like, well, now we're not going to show you because they aren't learning the moves. They aren't planning a show. Or they're not trying to figure everything out. It's everything of them just surviving, living out of town, basically, and living in Vegas.
And then them as the people and how they're actually
changing.
They're going from being a tight-knit group to they're spreading apart because things are so much different than the show, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's an interesting dynamic. So that it was as much as it was like a shift, I feel like, oh crap, why is this changing? Where's my wrestling, the different wrestling and all that?
But it's a different
feel, it's keeping it fresh. The 4th season is supposed to be coming out later this year, and it's a final season, so we'll be caught up in time.
Yeah, that'll be exciting.
Because every time we go to watch Supernatural, we find something else to watch.
Yeah, we are. I am bound and determined, though, we have to have that stuff watched to actually watch it live because, COVID gave us this opportunity.
Blessed be thy COVID for giving us the chance to be able to watch.
Because otherwise we messed up the chance. So,
but look at all the other things we got to watch.
I know.
Community, Glow, see, look at that. Lots of Doctor Who.
Finding a silver lining in the horrificness.
I'm actually feeling like we're binge watching.
I know. Right?
It's the weirdest thing. For the longest time, I was all jealous of all.
Why do we have cable again?
Because it helps us with our Netflix because it's attached to our cable.
We have cable so we can have Netflix easier.
I like it.
No, I agree.
I like the system.
I like not running it off the PlayStation. Mm-hmm. You don't have to, right? So yeah, Glow has been taking up our time.
Yeah, I recommend watching the show. It's an interesting show.
It's really well done. And the characters are really interesting. I really do like them. So
that's why we got to wrap this up so we can go watch more Glow.
Yeah, I know. We'll get done with it. Jeez, we got Glow to watch. Okay, last little bit.
Okay, so
it's time.
As we were told by a couple people about our Disney thing, how we're going to ruin your childhood with every Disney movie. So we're going to systematically destroy some more Disney movies for you. And here we go.
It was not the original plan to begin with. We watch it. I'm like, oh, yay, Disney movies. Death and destruction. Copper Brad ruins your childhood. First up is...
But it makes it interesting.
Uh-huh. I know. Oh, it is quite funny, actually.
Yeah.
These ones were a little harder. The first few ones were walked right into it. It was apparent. Oh my God, I can't believe I didn't think about this before. These ones were how can we kill someone?
Okay, I didn't watch it that way.
Sure. Yeah, right. I'm the twisted one.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't know why you
freak. I mean...
So first up is Bambi.
Bambi.
Which all on its own is sad and depressing.
Bambi.
So I hadn't seen Bambi for a really long time. I honestly could not even remember exactly how it went. I remembered key components and the characters. The story completely eluded me.
It's the Lion King, but without the coolness.
Yes. It is just a circle of life.
Yeah.
So what was interesting with this was we realized how much it was just one gigantic Fantasia scene.
Yeah.
It's demonstrating its art ability, which was absolutely phenomenal and gorgeous, but it's showcasing the art and it's setting it to music. There was so much, every time I looked up, I'm like, oh wow, there's another Fantasia skit going on right here. And that was quintessential. That was the point of the story. It wasn't the actual.
They really literally could have not had the animals talk, and it would have been just as interesting.
Yeah.
Like, there you go. If you're going to make a live action remake, Disney, of Bambi, don't make the animals talk. Make it look like a documentary and tell the story that way through music and art.
That would be really cool.
So be brave. Be different.
Be bold.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah,
What was funny is Kiddo kept referring to Bambi as a girl.
Yeah.
She. No, it's Bambi is a dude.
Right.
It's like, oh, I was like, it's because all the merch just has him as a cute little baby, and he's very feminine looking, but he is not really a baby in a lot of the movie.
No, it's actually like it's only 70 minutes, but it feels like it goes on forever.
Right? Like I was surprised on how long it was too.
It feels very long.
Like I'm glad that I know it now more than I did, but I'm like, okay, it's Bambi. We're good now. Like, other than the lesson of it is men are evil. Man.
Human.
Sorry. Humans shouldn't hunt and kill the poor creatures.
It was a pretty big message. That was
like really horrible.
Not only have you got the killing of the animals, but then the full on slaughter where the guy was just gun happy,
right?
Just like
it was totally
killing anything that moved.
Yeah, I mean, you were not proper.
That was like
hunting.
a horror scene too, where that quail's like, I gotta move. Right? They're like, no, don't move. They're like, no, he's getting closer. They're like, don't move. And she's like, no, I can't wait anymore. I have to move. And she flies off and boom, feathers everywhere.
Oh. And then not only that, they were so careless with the campsite, and then they light the forest on fire. Yeah. It was just like, oh my goodness, it was so sad. So yeah, that made me very depressed. But what is your decision at the end of it?
I still think Bambi's dead.
Yeah. I'm
going to call it Bambi died because no one really talks that he is alive. They just said Bambi would be proud of his fawn. It was two. And then she because up.
Well, because he had a gunshot wound. Let's not forget about the gunshot wound.
Yeah.
That you would
ain't got no medical out there.
Yeah, they're not going to recover from that.
Like that, in the fact that it took him down, he was midair jumping and got shot out of midair and tumbles.
Yeah. I don't
think Bambi lived.
He was up because then he was with his dad.
Yeah.
Up there too, and it was the shining light up in the sky. Yeah.
On the rock face, looking down hey, it's a circle of life.
Well then, if he had alive, then would his dad actually be there then? Or would his dad have been dead too? Because his dad had the whole looking over the forest and watching everyone, and he just showed up in his moment of crisis.
Well, and he's just a deadbeat dad.
Oh, okay. Just wondering if it was the circle of life feel where Mufasa just showed up when Simba needed him.
Maybe.
So maybe it was just the spirit of the forest concept.
Maybe.
Where you don't actually get to live long and wise because man hunts you. Yeah. So it's just the spirit of, watch out for these guys.
Because no one really ever acknowledged
live long enough, create babies, and then that's what happens.
Yeah.
So
Bambi dead.
All the males deer are dead.
Yep.
Because hunters.
So what do you think of Flower? I'm just gonna crack open a little.
There's a can of worms sensing right there. What do you?
Just me, or does Flower possibly be a homosexual?
Yeah, because I can't tell what.
Because this is supposed to be a dude, and
they all are. Yeah, but
he has that kid.
Yeah, because they all are guys. Because they all grow up, and they all But
just the way he acts and all that, and
we have a homosexual skunk.
I wonder.
Huh. He was always adorable.
I'm not saying anything's wrong with it.
I know that, but I was just continuing a conversation.
It was just interesting to see that the way that he acts and all that with a different lens of the world and all that, and be that would make almost make sense with how.
It's an interesting concept then between with the animal choices then, with the bunny generally being the cute and cuddly and fuzzy thing that we want to think as is sweet, and he's kind of abrasive and in your face, and the skunk, which we want to look at something that is just, we don't want to see it and stinky and horrible, and he's so adorable and cute and soft spoken, and they're so different for their animal characteristics for what we want to contribute to them too, right? So it's a bit of a commentary then on, you know, the personality can be anything depending on the person, right, too. So, there you go.
So he just married into whatever because he had to, but he, you know, because he ended up naming his child Bambi too, right? So so
deep thoughts. Good
adult lens trying to find more meaning to these movies.
I have a feeling for the time frame that it was, that if that was done, it was done with the most slightest hint or the complete unknowing, right?
It was like, I think it was more or less because that would have been intentional. That would have been the time too, right? Of like you have to hide who you are, and that's what he ended up growing up and having to hide who he was, because he was like this, like, so, you know, in the flowers, just all like really fluid, right? And then it was like, oh, you're a teenager. When you become a teenager, you an adult and all that, you gotta make babies. That's what the owl told them. Yeah, you're gonna find a woman and you're gonna make babies. It has to happen, right? And then he goes off and has to do that, right? So.
We told Kiddo is that they were having the whole, you know, you get all Twitter pated and you just, what happens? And we're like, are you excited for this? And he was just like, oh my god, you guys suck. No, I am not. Right. So next up, Cinderella. So I realized how much I have watched this movie when I was little, because it was actually on one of our recorded VHSs. I have just watched that movie over and over and over and over again. I kind of forgot how much I lived and breathed it, actually, for not being my favorite princess. It's kind of strange. Yeah. So, but I still really enjoy it. Yeah. Like, I mean, the step family is awful. Kiddo was like, oh my god, these people are horrible. Especially the stepsisters, they're just so selfish and, you know, irritating. So, but right from the very beginning, we've decided that Cinderella is
just crazy.
We think she's probably schizophrenic of some sort.
Yeah, she had a break. I think she probably had a break. Yeah, because she's hallucinating. Because she's hallucinating that the animal. The only animals that talk to her are the mice.
Yes. The other animals, the dogs don't talk. Lucifer doesn't talk. The horse doesn't talk.
Birds don't talk.
Yeah. I don't know why the birds wear clothes and the dog does not.
Right? So she's full on had a psychotic break.
But the mice walk on two legs, wear clothes, and talk to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
She's so broken.
Yeah.
She's had so much trauma.
Which it would make sense for sure,
and then
because they're in the size of that house,
slavery.
Like her dad was rolling in money with the size of that, so that was like castle worthy. Yeah, like it was not just a like somewhat well off. Yeah, it was an insane amount of stuff. So yeah, I think she's broke from the very beginning, and all she's looking is a way out from her horribleness.
Yeah, from the abuse.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different than Snow White. The concept of a prince saving her from the abyss, basically, that she's in, and I think Cinderella's like that too.
That's why she runs off with the first man. It's because she's like,
I mean, it literally is the first. She had no idea it was the prince. First man she's probably ever seen at the age that she is, and she falls in love with him. Like, it's so funny how as girls, it's okay and accepting of that as the princess, the true love feel, and then. Like, I never believed in that, like, intently as an adult growing up, but it could easily really mess with someone that was supposed to be how love is. I mean, oh my God, I did. Never mind.
Let's not get into that.
Anyways.
Therapy session.
As an adult, though, you realize just how messed up it really is that they all just, it's literally the first person they've ever seen, basically. Yeah. And yeah. Any other thoughts to add on this one?
Now, what has to also be thought, though, is, okay, Cinderella did not die, so unfortunately, I'm sorry, I wasn't able to find a way to kill her.
things you never thought you'd hear Mike say.
But,
sorry, I couldn't kill Cinderella.
Because there was nothing in it that was any peril that would have caused her to have, unless she actually fell down the stairs and died. But she didn't. So,
but schizophrenic.
But
Cinderella.
she's crazy. She basically went out to the garden, cried, and hallucinated this giant thing. That
you know how scary it would be to have someone appear underneath you as you sat there
crying? You're crying,
all of a sudden your face is in someone's lap. Yes, that would be scary.
It's a little rapey.
Slightly inappropriate,
right? And it's like you're like, but you have to realize too at the end that she probably was the downfall of their kingdom, because she outfitted all the mice that were in her house into the castle and gave them outfits and little swords.
Yes.
So like
we have a mouse uprising in the castle.
She started the Black Plague. Boom!
She killed half of Europe.
Because she befriended her mice, because she cray.
And they spread out the word that, you know what, you get to be, you get
to be the Queen's Guard at this castle, and they just
I love your
outran
line.
it.
She just married a millionaire without a prenup. And she's crazy.
And I brought that back to Glow.
Oh, yeah. So yeah. Okay, so there you go. We aren't killing Cinderella, we're killing all of Europe.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
There you go.
Cinderella's in charge of the Black Plague.
She created the rodent infestation because of her kindliness, because she saw rodents as okay when they were, stealing her food right in front of her face. And they made her clothes.
So I told Mike that Cinderella gave me a very fake thought on sewing when I was younger. This was my first visual idea of how clothes are made. I'm like, it's so easy, the mice can make it. Sewing a dress is not that easy. And then now, though, when I look at it, they didn't really make the dress. They just added embellishments to it. So
they gingerly place things.
Right. I like especially the bow. They wrap around the waist, they tie up, and there's a bow on the chest. They don't attach it to anything. They literally tie it, the birds fly around, tie the bow, and it just sticks to the chest.
Yeah.
So,
why she's hallucinating. She probably went to that thing in her rags. And she just imagined all that.
Oh, she imagined everything, yeah.
Maybe.
That's why no one knows what happened.
Maybe she...
Even the prince doesn't even remember what happened.
Maybe she actually never went... Maybe she never even left her tower. Maybe she just imagined everything.
Has Cinderella been sufficiently ruined yet for you people?
Maybe... Yeah, maybe that's what happened.
You don't get to walk into the ball and be the belle of everything and be taken aback. She looks so different than everyone else. It's like, I don't care if she was not the prettiest person in the world. She definitely would have grabbed attention because... How
high was he not to be able to recognize her in any form, though?
Yeah, I mean, he spent hours with her, close to her face.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked completely different than everyone.
And how nutty...
no one else had blonde hair.
How nutty
in the
was
entire
this
kingdom.
Whole, this idea of, whoever fits this shoe... I'm gonna marry.
Because, I'm sorry, those shoes were smaller than the Duke's fingers. I'm a little afraid she was a child.
This just got darker and darker. We got plague, we've got...
Right? Well, because if you imagined all of this...
Endangerment.
Then, right? But, I mean, her feet were freakishly tiny, or the Duke was a giant. But even the king, the shoe is the size of his hand, and the entire shoe. And yeah, I have maybe a good 2/3 of my foot with my hand. It's just freakishly tiny foot. Anyways, I've always been weird to me, how much bigger the stepsisters' feet are too.
Yeah.
I know that they're supposed to be awkward and everything like that, and I get it. I mean, they're all clunky and atrocious, but way to set people up for feeling horrible for having a regular size foot. She has Barbie feet.
Yeah.
That's what they are. They're Barbie feet. Completely unrealistic Barbie feet. Well, I think we've sufficiently torn down Cinderella way more than we expected.
See what happens. See what people say this week.
Okay. Anything else, Mike? Last minute closing thoughts.
Well, I want to thank Theo again for coming up with some more transition music for us. Hopefully you're enjoying that.
Super rad.
It's kind of fun. He's rocking out on his guitar for us. And also too, with Spit Roast, they did a pretty good episode that talked about some Shudder films. I was actually surprised to find out that Adam hadn't seen Reanimator. And he's getting in deep into that with getting a whole bunch of NECA stuff. So good luck on that rabbit hole.
Nice.
You can't just have one NECA. You gotta have them all. Yeah, it's like Pokemon, but with horror figures.
Yeah, trust me, it is.
But no, just come back next week. It's Father's Day weekend, so we're gonna be doing Last Crusade. I'm gonna try to compile together some movies that I can watch with Kiddo and Katie here that are
yeah, I told him he gets free range to choose
movie things. Yeah. Maybe movies that shape me.
Any suggestions?
Maybe, I don't know. I thought of a couple, then realized that they're vastly inappropriate to show child right now.
You really love Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and he's been really wanting to watch that. We could watch that.
Yeah.
That's something.
We'll see.
You're like, I don't want to watch that.
No. I can literally say that movie.
I know you can.
I've got a portable hole. That's a ride.
Yes, it is. See? We blend things.
But, hey, thanks for joining us. Stay rad. And we'll see you next week, right?
Thanks for listening, everyone, and have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. Want more rad content? Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review.
And remember, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes!